All right, we're back, Ivy, and this is one of my favorite questions because I've had such amazing answers from people. Influencers come in all sizes, shapes, languages, you name it. It could be for a quarter second that you influence someone, or they influence you, or it could be for a long term. Can you share with us two or three people that have been influencers in your life?
Yeah. Okay. First, I will say I was a dancer as a kid. I actually have a degree in dance, and one of the things that led me, and when I got started writing my most recent book, From the Bar to the Boardroom, Choreographing Business Success Through Authentic Relationships, I went back and I thought about Twyla Tharp. She was a choreographer, a dancer, and I remember as a kid going to see the American Ballet Theater in Lincoln Center in New York, and Mikhail Barishnikov was the lead. He was newly here from Russia. I mean, I'm dating myself. And she choreographed a piece called Push Comes to Shove. It was a short piece. And that piece made a huge, huge influence on my life and on everything I do from that day, including today. She took traditional ballet and for the very, very, very first time, added modern and jazz to it in a venue that was the main stage theater of Lincoln Center, which is traditionally ballet and opera. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was floored. I went back to see it so many times I can't tell you. And I said, she broke the rules. She broke the rules. She broke the boundaries. You know, how did she have the guts to do this? How did she
back then, more
pull
so.
this off? Yeah, absolutely. Back then, how did she pull it off? And she got heard and allowed to do this. Like, how long did she have to, like, who did she have to push, fight? Was this welcomed? I just went in so many directions. And when I think of business and I think of leadership, we have to push the rules. We have to push the boundaries. We shouldn't break the law by any means. So I'm not talking about that. But we have to break the conservative restrictions of what we're supposed to be doing at all times. And we have an amazing opportunity right now because of a global pandemic to stretch and explore boundaries and seeing what's possible here. And so that was a huge, huge influence. And I'm still incredibly, if you couldn't tell, passionate about it.
I love it. Anybody else?
My grandfather, my grandparents, and especially my grandfather. Mm-hmm. My grandparents were first generation America from Russia, originally families. And my grandfather, and I remember hearing the stories, when he was young and a young entrepreneur, he rode the trains. He used to hop on and ride the trains for free, going across the country, selling combs, 5-cent combs in carnivals.
Wow.
And from that experience, he went on to own 7 stores in the New York metropolitan area, became very, very successful for a man of his time, and then lost it all in the Depression. He lost 2 children. And as a kid, he was one of the most warmest, fun-loving, giving human beings. Always took the time for anybody and their brother. You know, would sit down with me, would sit down with the neighbor and sit and talk. Went back because, you know, he wanted to work. He worked in a toy store and an Army Navy store a few days a week because he loved being with people.
Right.
And there was so, you know, a laundry list of lessons there. Just the laundry list of the human being he was. And the money wasn't the end all be all, people were. It just huge. I've always, or there's multitude of lessons that I've learned from him in his lifetime, and takes forward to the stories that I heard from the rest of the family of a true influencer in my life.
Yeah, I can feel it. And I can feel it through you that he got it. He got what was important. Yeah. Thank you
So
so
maybe I
much.
got lucky and came down generationally.
No, I love hearing that. And it does make a difference. It makes a difference because you tell me and it makes me feel good and so on and so on. So I really thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thanks. I'm telling you, it's a great question.
Now let's go out and influence some more people.
Ripple effect. Ripple effect, people. Think about I love the question. Think about who has influenced you and why. And then take those values forward.
All right, people, you heard it here. Go for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me. And it's a joy to be with you today.